Welcome back, Fragrance Fiend here today with a very different type of first impression video. Usually I'm very thorough with the fragrances I choose. I do a lot of research before I select them. Today I've got with me Tocca Lucia. I know nothing about it. This is a complete first impression. I don't even know the notes inside. So I've never really delved too deeply into a feminine perfume before, but seeing as this is the first of a kind, I'm gonna open it up right here. Somewhat what I expected from a bottle like this. I gotta say, my first impression, the bottle feels quite weighty and luxurious. The cap is absolutely stunning. I'm really impressed by that. It's kind of weighty, but I'll do a close-up of the cap there, as you can see. So, as expected, there's definitely a heavy floral element to it. I'm assuming it's jasmine. There's a sweeter element in there I can't quite put my nose on. Haven't even read the back of the box, but let's see what it says. Lucia is a luminous, fresh floral fragrance that gives voice to your inner beauty. Inspired by the Italian art of slow living, Lucia weaves a soulful tapestry of sunlit Italian lemon, lush fig, and woody vetiver. A radiant indulgence that encourages you to live for the moment. So yeah, you're definitely getting that sweetness from the fig. The texturing and the embossing on the actual box makes it somewhat hard to read. Celebrating timeless beauty and old world European charm, Tocca invites you to indulge and love yourself. Obviously I'm judging this from a male perspective, if you couldn't tell. But it's actually a very beautiful feminine scent, something which I guess smells a tiny bit too mature for someone in their 20s. In fact, I take that back. It does have a sweeter element which you can kind of get away with, but it still leans a little more mature. I'm gonna go in for one more spritz. Or two. For a brand or bottle I'm not entirely familiar with, it's actually not too bad. Time for me to have a sneak peek at the actual note breakdown. So I'm on their website now for the very first time. Lucia is the top one that popped up, so I'm guessing it's maybe the top seller. So once again, inspired by the art of slow living. Yeah, it doesn't really vibe with me, but... Okay, so I found the note breakdown. In the top you've got lemon oil, grapefruit, mandarin, and a marine accord. Yeah, I definitely do get that marine accord now that I think about it. And surprisingly, I'm completely off the mark. No jasmine at all. I think it was actually probably that marine accord which gave me that jasmine-like element. So in the heart you've got fig tree leaves, upcycled rosewater, and geranium. Lastly, with a base of vetiver oil, cedarwood, and tobacco, and fig tree wood. So a lot of fig around this one. So a very figgy scent, and I did not expect that tobacco note actually. Yeah, so the tobacco is in the base, but I'm not getting any of that yet. The white floral element actually smells a lot stronger than what the website's telling me. But once again, that's like a lot of marine-based fragrances. They do have a bit of a floral accord to them. I think most people subconsciously pick up on that, but that's what I'm getting in the opening. The citruses are somewhat minimal. Thankfully, it's not as soapy as Eau de Magnolia. It's a little more toned down than that. The fig is definitely coming in a little stronger, and I guess I'm getting a tiny bit of a hint of tobacco, mild smokiness, in conjunction with that vetiver. And I'm not even that disappointed. I think I'll actually keep this one for myself after the initial dry down. It's not necessarily masculine, but a guy can somewhat get away with wearing this. Surprisingly, it's actually getting less and less floral as it dries down. Originally, I wanted to kind of diversify my content a bit and do some feminine fragrances, but surprisingly, I think I'll even be able to get away with wearing this one. Now that it's drying down, it's actually reminding me a tiny bit of Mulberry Fig by Floris. I mean, I prefer this one a million times over, but they could lay it together quite nicely. It's funny, the design in itself is quite French or Italian, but it's actually made in the USA, which is a massive surprise now that I'm reading the bottle. So even the sweeter element of this, I definitely find wearable throughout the midst of summer. It's far from intense, really light, pleasing. I'm actually enjoying it. It's also on the budget-friendly side, so I'm being a little more kind to it than I probably usually would. Build quality is good for the price. The sticker at the front feels a tiny bit cheap, but I guess it kind of fits the whole aesthetic. The bottle definitely feels weighty, but there's no protective packaging on the inside. It's completely empty, so I don't think you'd still break it if you dropped it, but you'd want a tiny bit of foam or something in there just to be sure. This one smells like it's probably going to last between about 5 and 6 hours. It is eau de parfum concentration, but based on my initial impression, you can kind of tell that DNA isn't really going to be lasting all day, but it's not going to be weak either. I think it's just enough to kind of justify that type of price tag for what you're getting. Projection has been super minimal. I'm not really getting too much out of it. It's still definitely there, but it's not something people are going to be smelling, especially outdoors. It's quite an intimate scent, which I think is great for people attracted to this type of scent DNA. If you do like a very mild, fresh floral with a bit of a sweeter undertone that isn't going to really have people running after you down the street, for example, this is probably something you want. Anyway, today's video is very different to anything I've ever done before. This is the first completely unscripted video I've done. Even with my other first impressions, I have the notes ready to go. Let me know what you think. Should I do more of this type of content, or maybe rehearse it out a bit more? But anyway, I always appreciate comments down below, so be sure to leave one. Thanks so much for watching once again, and I'll see you next time.